Hello, and oh my God. Good morning, and welcome to Carpe Diem, the world of Mack's Headroom. You know, any of you who may have seen my last tape realizes that I ran into some copyright violations for music, which I like to start every show off with. I'm just a music nut. And I had to scramble like mad to eliminate the music and save the body of the text. And so today, I think this presentation is so important. I don't want to take that kind of chance. But being an obsessive compulsive creature of habit, I do want to start with some music. So I decided I'd try, since everybody else in the world is being Mr. Sneaky Deaky, I thought that I might try to be a little stealth also and still sing, but I'm going to do it all in like scat without any words. So we'll hope to rock the establishment a little bit that way. So just give me a moment here and let me prepare. Take a little sip of water or coffee. Use my vocal spritzer. Me 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 me, oh, la 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 la, la 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 la. Okay, I think I'm about ready. So let's begin. Microphone in place. Dum dum brum dum da dum da dum da dum 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 da dum dum da dum da dum da dum. A one and a two and a three. Me, 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 a one and a two and a three. Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-doo-be-doo, ba-da-ba-be-doo, bow. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-ba-da-da-da, ba-doo-ba-dee-dee-da-ba-dee-ba-da-ba-doo-doo-da-da-ba-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da, 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 dee-doo-doo-doo, ba-ba-dee-doo, bow, wop. Yeah. That wasn't bad, was it? You know, there's actually some very special meaning behind each one of those songs in relationship to today's tape, which I again haven't told you what it's about yet because I'm the suspense man. But I'm scared that I might get hung in my apartment if I'm found to be working against the rich, the powerful, the white, the political, and the famous. And if you can't tell, today's presentation is a follow-up to my prior one week ago exactly, on the deceased Jeffrey Epstein. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't feel sorry for this sucker one little bit, okay? However, I feel sorry for us, the Americans, and everybody who's immigrated to this country who wants to be in this place. I feel sorry for us. And, you know, as you remember, the last tape I gave, I made the proposition that I thought that he was going to be assassinated. And at this point, if you listen to the media, it seems as if he committed suicide. But like, I just saw a tape last night that was talking about how one could be hung in a cell and then the case would be dismissed as suicide. So my predictions of last week, I think, have come true, and I do think that Jeffrey Epstein has been assassinated. Why? Of course, we all know. Because he knows that all the rich, white, famous, political assholes in the world, not all are, but those that are in deep, deep doo-doo. And yet, now they're not. Because guess what? Remember what I said last time? Jeffrey Epstein means to those people about as much as a piece of snot at the end of their nose being flung into the air. And look what happened. They didn't fling him into the air, but they hung him in the air. The boy's dead. And he was dead because he was pleasing all the rich and famous. Not all. I'm sorry. I don't mean to insult anybody who's rich or famous and isn't a pervert. But it seems like there are a shit ton of them. So, America, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? You're gonna, I was watching the news this morning. My beloved, and truly beloved next door neighbor, Big Mama T, called me up and she said, you gotta turn the news on. And I turned it on and I saw what was going on. And God bless you, Mama T. The dude was killed. Don't give me any bullshit that he hung himself. You know why? I'll tell you the biggest reason I do not believe that he committed suicide. Why do you think? Hold on. I'm going to take a cup of coffee, keep you in suspense, and hope that my ADD doesn't get in the way of remembering what I was going to say. Oops, didn't work. I forgot. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. The reason, the media is presenting this whole thing as a hanging suicide. And one of the biggest reasons I don't think Jeff Epstein killed himself is because, you could call Jeff Epstein. I think any of you have watched my show know I have this major issue with people who use psychological terms in the wrong context. So in order to avoid those words, I'm going to try another one, okay? And that is that probably Jeff Epstein was the biggest hedonist in the world. And what's a hedonist? A hedonist is one who likes to indulge oneself in one's pleasures, okay? So ask yourself the question, why would someone who likes to indulge oneself in one's pleasures fucking kill himself? Well, there's still stuff to enjoy. Even if it's watching the politicians make assholes of himself. He wouldn't have killed himself. He's too into enjoying whatever he can enjoy at other people's expense. So America, what you gonna do? Now, I hope that the following line that I say doesn't get you to turn me off. Because I'm gonna do it anyway. And if you turn me off, you turn me off, okay? But America, what you gonna do? You're gonna look at this thing like most of you are looking at the Michael Jackson phenomena. Let's call it a phenomena. We can't call him a pervert. Everybody loves him too much. I mean, are you all gonna, discredit all the victims and everything to try to save your own sense of hubris? And say, oh, we elected this guy, of course, he couldn't be wrong because I'm always right. You have a choice to make, and that is to face the music or not. As a matter of fact, I'm going to stop because my friend gave me a great quote that I want to read, and I'm going to look it up. So hang on just one more second, please. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That didn't take long, did it? I think this is very appropriate. Again, America, what are we going to do? My again, previously referred to, beloved friend, told me this saying, and she's like the saying master. Sensei saying. But anyway, here's the saying she told me. There's none so blind than those who will not see. Think about it. There's none so blind than those who will not see. You're going to ignore that Michael Jackson's a pervert? You're going to ignore that Jeffrey Epstein got offed in the jail? Well, I got some real problems with that. And if anybody wants to unsubscribe or whatever, I would hate to see you go, but I'm lumping the Michael Jackson blindness with the Jeffrey Epstein blindness in thinking that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. And you know what kills me is that if you choose to go the denial route and not place the government in partial in responsibility probably for killing the dude, then let remind you that everybody has been groomed, has been lied to, and now another person has lost his life, just like all these millions of teens that, you know, or adults who say Michael Jackson, geez, I keep slipping. Michael Jackson, you know, didn't do anything, God forbid, you know, he spent too much money on his records. Well, you know, now we have to face, oh my God, we've already elected a moron president, and now we have to face the fact that everybody else in politics, or not everybody, I'm sorry, I keep saying that, I'm rather emotional about this, but that a large percentage of politicians who are rich, white, political, famous, and you put your, you know, the American public put their faith in, fucked you in the butt. You got it? We all got fucked in the butt. Without Vaseline. Ugh, what a vulgar metaphor. But this is a vulgar topic. Okay? Ask yourself, you know, again, like I say, why would Jeffrey Epstein kill himself? He's a hedonist. Hedonists have too much to look forward to enjoy. Why would he kill himself? And also, why was Jeffrey Epstein, when this like little news leak came out that, oh my God, Jeffrey Epstein may have tried to hurt himself, but then again, he was put in a cell. Oh, see, that's probably Mama T. But then was put in a cell with a police officer who had murdered like 7 people or something like that. Again, you know, are you so blind that you will not see? I mean, wake up, people. The government is in on this. And I have never been a political person, and I've really never been a conspiracy theorist. Never. And this is so clear to me that it's unbelievable. You know, a big point that I want to make is, please, as people of, as everybody who lives in this country, I don't care if you're a naturalized citizen, if you're an immigrant, it doesn't matter to me. If you're living in this place, please don't view this as a sex abuse case only. Because when I was watching the news today, it came to my attention that the media was like really stressing still, like the disclosure of this new victim who was going to blow the doors off of everything, you know, meaning that everybody's going to focus on, oh, see, we told you Jeff Epstein was a pedophile. Oh boy, big surprise, whoopee. No. A whole bunch of people are of that bent, and no Freudian slip intended. And I think it's about time that, you know, we all wake up, put our hubris aside, and take a real serious look at why we allow this shit to happen. I'm 66 years old, And do you realize that I've witnessed Dr. Martin Luther King's assassination, John F. Kennedy's assassination, Robert Kennedy's assassination, that poor chick who died with Edward Kennedy at Chappaquiddick, her death, Jack Ruby who disappears, Sirhan Sirhan who disappears. I mean, how much more data do you need? Here, I'll be Scientological about it, okay? To have your, to quell your reactive mind from your analytical mind. Ooh, that's neat for me. I did a Scientology metaphor. No, I'm serious. Why can't everybody put their emotions aside and look at this factually and logically? He has been feeding the white, the powerful, the rich, the famous with little kids for sex and who knows what the hell else. So I'm pleading with you to please not just see this as a sex abuse case. This is political terrorism. That's what this is about. This ranks up there with me, for me, with 9/11. And I'm sorry if anybody lost anybody in 9/11 and you think that's the most obnoxious thing you could ever hear anybody say. But in Mack's mind, in Mack's headroom, they're on very isomorphic trails. You know, they're very parallel to one another. And our reactions at this point this morning are at a fork in the road because we have a choice. We have a choice as to whether to continue to believe that our government is just so infallible that nothing like this could ever happen, that they could assassinate, you know, this rich guy, to just diss that and say he committed suicide. That dude didn't commit suicide. Give me a break. You know, if he really wanted to try to fight this thing, he's got enough money to have lived a couple more years at least, unless somebody offs him first. And as I said last week, that was going to happen. And at least a week later, we know the dude's dead, and he hung himself. And I read that when a prisoner hangs himself, when a president, oh, that was funny. When a prisoner does anything that resembles suicide, it's just considered a suicide. It's never considered like, you know, a possible murder, unless somebody sees him do it. And I guarantee, given all the CIA's secret cameras and magic invisible people and stuff like that, I bet you nobody saw what happened. And so, you know, we're at a fork in the road. Are we going to continue this legacy of believing that all these people that we've trusted really fucking let us down? You know, I was hearing things about Clinton the other day that hadn't come into the news that was amazing. You know, if we view this as a sex abuse or sex trafficking case, then we are choosing to be blind. And I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. And, you know, just look at all the people that this type of ending has just mysteriously happened to. Not exactly the same. I mean, they didn't commit suicide supposedly or anything, but they were all killed. And I'm just going to read you a few of them, okay? First, let's start with the Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King, okay? That dude didn't have any badness in his heart at all, but he threatened the white, the powerful, and the political, and what happened? He gets shot and killed. Probably one of the most wonderful people in the world, okay? And so you don't accuse me of being racially biased. Let's take a look at John Kennedy. You know, he's fucking Marilyn Monroe, and the you know, everybody's getting uptight about that. Bobby's getting uptight about that and lecturing on. And what happens? Oh my God, we have our second you know, presidential assassination. Oh my God, how surprising. Let's take a look at Sirhan Sirhan. Where did he go? Back to Iran or wherever the fuck he was from? How about Bobby Kennedy, who was, challenging the mafia? Okay, he ends up disappearing, not disappearing, but being offed in public. It was like to me, it was like the mafia was saying, "Oh yeah, watch this, fuck with us, yeah, watch." You know what I'm saying? Pow. Let's look at Lee Harvey Oswald and his. I'm going to say it. His accomplices. I think it's understood that Lee Harvey Oswald couldn't have shot President Kennedy at the distance he was with the crude imported Italian rifle that he used. It's impossible. It's impossible. One shot. So when are we going to stop believing this bullshit? I don't understand. I'm not advocating for a revolution, okay? I really would hate that. Oh, that scares the shit out of me. But, we're getting close to it. We're getting close to it. But you see, as I mentioned before, I was a shrink, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's these things called psychological defenses. And what psychological defenses often function in the service of is to keep unacceptable thoughts or feelings or unconscious motivations down so you don't act on them and we don't feed into the animalistic people that we actually are, because as I've mentioned, Freud once said, once you forget that the human organism is a member of the mammalian species, one also loses a great understanding of human nature. And I don't need to say that again. So, this thing, we are acting like animals. Or I'm not. I hope I'm not. Wait. That was a real animal there. But see, my fans are already calling in. I can't believe it. But I just cannot believe that I believe Jeffrey Epstein's dead. I said it a week ago. I saw a guy last night say it on TV for the first time on YouTube. But the man is dead. Now, are you just going to say, what an asshole, he was screwing around with all these little kids and sex trafficking and stuff like that? But you see, if you do that, you're only looking at one person. You're only looking at the head of a pimple. It's ridiculous. To get rid of a pimple, you got to get what's underneath it. And there's plenty underneath the murder of Jeffrey Epstein. And I'm not going to say I feel sorry for him, because he's just as responsible. But I am going to say that I don't know, I feel sorry for the fact that the government groomed him. You follow? The government groomed him. They got him into a private island with all kinds of funds that you can't really trace back how he got the money. Why? Because he was a moron enough to supply the other morons in the rich and famous population oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought. Excuse me again. Damn ADD. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I guess it's maybe time to conclude. I just wanted to be a first responder, and maybe I'll make another tape that goes a little bit more into this. But let me just summarize a couple of pleas that I have to the American public, okay? Anybody who lives in America, I don't care where you're from. Please, don't buy into this as a sex abuse scandal, because it will alleviate all the people that he was serving, that we idolize and elected. Okay, that's the hardest thing, see, to face that you were conned. Remember I did a tape on when I was scammed? Do you know how embarrassing that was to get on the air and talk about how I was sucked into an action that made me look like a total absolute moron. It was very embarrassing. But you know what? There's something about the truth that's very enlightening and very liberating. And I really encourage everybody to think really inside the box. I don't think you got to go very far outside the box to think about the fact that the guy was killed. He didn't commit suicide, and that this is not only a sex abuse scandal, but it's a like massive political act of terrorism in a way. And if we fall for that, then we're just as responsible. So please, don't diss me like you did the Michael Jackson tapes I did. The guy's a pervert. And Jeffrey Epstein is not the only pervert involved in the Jeffrey Epstein sex abuse, trafficking, blah, blah, blah scandal. And I encourage you to be more prudent when it comes to thinking about who you're going to want to elect. I mean, for instance, just because you love guns doesn't mean you elect a moron as a president with orange hair. Okay? I mean, you have to look outside of your own hubris, your own pride, your own selfish interests if you're going to be thinking about electing politicians. And guess what? An election's coming up. What are we going to do? Is everybody going to be so blind that they won't see? Tell me. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I'm not pissed at anybody particularly. I don't mean to insult anybody. But let's wake up, America. They got a show, Good Morning America. Well, maybe I'll change my show to Wake Up America. Because there's all kinds of crazy shit going on here. And if we don't do something about it and take it seriously, then we're just as responsible for the rest of our miserable destiny, And, God, that's all I've got to say. So, with that, usually I'm kind of elated after these things. Now I'm kind of disgusted after I do a tape. But, hold on, let me get my shit together again. Oh, did you notice I thought this was a Freudian slip, too, that I have the Havana Club written across my my hat. That was not intentional, but given the spirit of my talk, I definitely believe there's an unconscious, that's for sure. So thank you for listening. Please, I don't know how else to say it. It's so important. It's so important. Please, be prudent. And when you come to that fork in the road where you have to decide whether this is a sex abuse case only or an act of some kind of political terrorism and conspiracy, please think very seriously about that. And don't put your own selfish interests in the way of either stopping or enabling something that's been going on for hundreds of years amongst the rich, white, powerful, famous, and political. Not all of them. I'm not saying all of them. But it's becoming apparent that pedophilia and politics both begin with P. Isn't that interesting? So with that, I bid you adieu. And thank you again. I hope I didn't insult anybody, but please come back. I'm probably going to do another tape. I just had to kind of get this out. That's the name of the show, Carpe Diem. And I just woke up. My neighbor called me, and I put this thing together. So thank you again. And hopefully, namaste. I really hope so. Goodbye.